I would love to continue with our series of uncovering the buried truths about Africa in the Bible. And our study is entitled Africa Isn't God's Afterthought. In last series we were talking about Kush, which is the modern day Ethiopia, being a nation of great importance. It was a great nation, militarily powerful, and is being seen right in the book of 2 Kings, waging war against Assyria, which was at that moment pursuing the fall of Israel during Hezekiah's reign. The intervention of Ethiopia into these events was of great importance, as her attack against Assyria was one of the weakening weapons against Assyria's strength and pressure towards Israel. In other words, we would say that the intervention of Kush into the war or into the rising war between Assyria and Israel was a weakening factor that God used. We are right here saying that God uses Kush, an African nation, to help Israel, to deliver Israel from her enemies. He used Africa. He used Kush. And this is a great point that we should also consider. That Africa was way long part of the redemption plan. It had a great importance right within the biblical history, the biblical events. And we are seeing it right here, that even God used that to deliver the children of Israel. If it were just an afterthought, then God would have not allowed it. Because we see right here within 2 Kings 29 verse 9, when Kush, the modern day Ethiopia, goes in to attack Assyria as in a way of delivering Israel. Hence, the attack of Kush towards Assyria was a way of protecting Israel. And therefore, we should really be grateful, and we should change our minds. Our minds should not be shifted due to lack of knowledge. However, we should know that all this battle was not won with human strength, but by divine power, as one of the major factors behind this success. And this was due to the way Hezekiah handled the battle. Turn to the book of 2 Kings, verse 19. 2 Kings chapter 19, 8 up to 19. That's where we see Hezekiah laying down all this to God. He dedicated these to God, that even the threatening letter which Sennacherib, Assyria's king, sent to him was spread before God, so that he would handle it all. And how did God handle it? He used Kush, an African nation, from Africa, the continent. He would have selected any other thing. Then how come someone sits down and writes a history, writes an essay that Africa is a dark continent in regard to the fact that it was forgotten, trying to show how Africa was forgotten, how Africa was destined to suffer, yet it played a great role in the then times. Not only in the civilization, but also in the biblical events. Therefore, Africans shouldn't underlook themselves because of the false narratives. And for that reason, we shouldn't look at God as a segregated God. For He included all nations of the time into these lifetime events. It was just the will of some nations to disobey. And you know what God does to those that are disobedient? He's a just God. You do good, He repays the good you're meant to receive. If you do bad, He repays you with what you're meant to have. Therefore, the more we know the depths of this truth, the more we are able to embrace the reality of God's word of love and redemption for all. Christianity isn't a white man's religion. It's a predestined plan of redemption for all. Let's dive deep into this truth and see what God says.